And a perfect workout to me is something that is balanced and also restorative in the movement. So why this is a perfect workout is we're going to be looking at body positions and contrasting body positions. Imagine a yin and a yang, a front and a back, a left or right. What we're working with today is more of a chest and hip position, a gait position, or a posture position. So our first movement is one of my favorite movements. It's going to be the hip thrust. Say I have a pad here and a bench. That's all you need. Start nice and light with a weight. And if a weight or a barbell is too much, this is just fine using body weight. And to challenge body weight, you can always do one leg at a time. Okay, so I'm going to get my feet nice and close. I'm going to bridge and support the back on the bench. I'm going to drive through the heels and hold my top position. It almost feels like I'm sliding back ever so slightly as I go up. Hips down, head down. Hips up, head up. I'm giving myself a little double chin to keep the spine neutral. Okay, so these are the hip thrusts. Okay, and I talked about a hip position. And what we're going to try and control is our pelvic tilt. We're not going to try, as we go down, it's going to be challenging not to let this pelvic tilt happen, but we're going to try and restrict it. Okay, so we imagine the hips going forward, kind of squeezing our booty. That's what we're looking for at the top. And as we descend, I'm not going to surrender this position by bringing my tail feather high. I'm going to lower down, bring the head down, and then bring the hips up, trying to maintain this pelvic tilt. So our next movement is really going to emphasize this pelvic tilt even more. Okay, so we're going to very similar movement patterns. Okay, but we're going to be focusing on the hip position. Okay, so once again, I'm not going to be bringing the tail feather high, collapsing the back. I'm actually the whole time going to be working towards this anterior pelvic tilt, or kind of squeezing the butt, hips forward position. Okay, so this can also be a V-up. This is a more challenging movement in the rollout, but I'm going to keep myself in a cat-like position, hips forward, breathing in, holding, breathing out, scooping through the core. I'll go a little more sideways so you can see the movement. So here, scooping, breathing in, crunching as I come out. Don't worry about going too low. It's all about the spine position and creating this nice crunch. And also, any good ab movement isn't just creating movement, but also preventing movement. I'm preventing from dumping in my back. I'm preventing the posterior pelvic tilt. So this movement is multi-dimensional because I'm doing two things: preventing movement and creating movement simultaneously. Okay. So I've been working the hips through an anterior pelvic tilt. So now's the time to work unilaterally, one of my favorite ways to work the legs, through just a simple split leg squat, okay, or split lunge. Okay, now I have my anterior pelvic tilt. Now I can go neutral, if not, go to a bit more of a posterior pelvic tilt to work my booty a bit more. Okay, I'm going to start with the right leg, and I almost feel like I'm going down and back, up and forward. Okay, so with the other leg. Okay, it's also going to work balance as well. Make sure this back foot is right behind the hip and glute. So I'm going down and back. Notice I have kind of this twerk booty pelvic tilt. Breathing in, driving through the heel down. Okay, much like running, I'm matching a breath with movement, and also these arms are working in unison with the movement and driving through the heel. Okay, last but not least, we have a great restorative shoulder complex. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep this chest open, shoulders down and back, and we'll go through kind of a compound movement. I'm going to go into a lateral raise with confidence, open chest. I'm going to bring center to a front raise and front raise overhead. And now I'm going to reverse the movement. Front raise, back center, open up to lateral raise, and down. And as you notice how I open up into my lateral raise, I'm going into an even better position in the collarbone and shoulder blades. Okay, so I have a lateral raise, I'm neutral. I keep the neutral shoulders, I'm not rolling forward. I come up with a calm face and neck, but as I come down, calm and up a watch here. As I go into my lateral raise, I get even better position through the collarbone and shoulders. Okay? So allow this to be restorative. You have to take your time and kind of analyze what's going on, left to right. Okay, the shoulder blades. Notice how I'm not cringing. Okay? Really important through these movements. It's not to create a bunch of unnecessary neck and face tension. Okay? I'm nice and calm. I'm breathing in. My energy is coming in to the expansion of my base in this ribbed chest position, as well as bending into the legs, allowing my hips to be dynamic and athletic, not too robotic. This is it for our restorative workout series. I would try and hit 5 rounds of 10 repetitions. Okay, so we have our hip thrust to 10. If 10 is easy, see if you can't go a bit heavier, or maybe possibly holding your top position a bit more and really focusing as I go to my top position, ever so slightly externally rotating the hips and pulling the knees out just a little bit. Okay? Remember, our hip position is scooping as we do our rollouts, not going too low. We should never feel pain in the low back. Not even discomfort. Tension, maybe, but we should, as soon as we come out of depth, we should feel the contraction in the core. That's the whole point. Okay? Our unilateral movements, we can do a little bubble pulse at the bottom. I'll show you quickly what a double pulse is going to look like. This is going to challenge our movement. You can even do 3, or we can go with weights. Okay? And last but not least, we have our shoulder complex. Okay? Staying nice and calm, bending in, and allowing this movement to work towards mastery. Okay? That's what the point is of all of these movements, working towards mastery. And as we master these fundamental movements, the cues and the intentions transcend all of these more advanced movements in your Olympic lifts. Enjoy.